From the center of the Americas to you, wherever you are, this is the end of days. Hello, exiles. Welcome home. Well, it's a new week. Bound to be another week. Quite hectic and shitty, but we're going to get through it, kids. Interesting news, Roaring Kitty's back. He has bought a ton of GameStop, I should say, stock. GameStop stock. And so it'll be interesting to see if we get another short squeeze here with this one. But after 3 years of silence, he's back. So keep an eye out for that. It's interesting, if nothing else, even if you don't have a dog in the hunt. Well, here we are at the precipice of the end of days, and I mean this in no uncertain terms. We have today just a taste of what it is that is to come. I spend more time on the beach here than your average bear. I do not spend a lot of time on the beach. It's just that proximity affords me the leisure of being able to take some moments and sort of strew them beachside, as it were, and so I do. Funnily, I've always had the thought that I would live in the mountains somewhere, but instead I live on a hill, and the beach is a short ways away, so I can walk there if I choose. The one grand thing about quitting is that you have time to think, and I think that's why they seek to keep you busy, first during your miseducation, and then at work, and then through diversion. The Romans called it bread and circuses. I call it bullshit, as in everything is bullshit. Well, to those of us who've received the memo, we know that everything has it's all been a show, and a lie, and a charade, and a farce. To them, so it is, we are animals, pigs, 3 different ones, or cattle for eating, cattle for milking. This is what's written in their protocols. Do you get it yet? I don't know if that particular book is real. It's been pretty darned prescient, though. I know of another book that's real, though, and it ain't the Pentateuch, I'll tell you. Are you with me? Well, I think I just heard the sound of one hand clapping. If I were a younger man, and this was perhaps the 1990s, I could collect my books and head on back to school. But there is no school anymore. They've destroyed it, and if you're sending your children there, you're destroying them. It's time to take the gloves and the training wheels off. This proverbial train has left the proverbial station, and in fact, it's about to career off the tracks. Now, I hope you have a parachute or at least some gold and silver bullets and bourbon. If no one wants your gold and silver, and they will, they'll certainly want your bourbon, and if all else fails, you might make them offer they can't refuse in the shape of your bullets. It's time for good men to make a stand, and I want to tell you a poorly held secret. You're going to die, and you're probably going to die sooner than you think. So you can take this knowledge and act accordingly, or you can shut your trap and fall in the line and die in silence ignominiously. You didn't come here to cower, did you? No. You didn't come here to plead. You came here to do this, and you had better do it, lest when you have your life review, you end up watching a real shitty flick with an abysmal ending. All this points to the awakening. It is upon us, even if you don't yet realize it. We've been here before, though perhaps not quite like this. On some sunny summer day, while lying laconically, we are going to get nuked off our hammocks. And if you're one of those in a big American city, you're wasted. And I wonder who will actually be better off, those on whom the bomb lands or those further away. But I'll tell you, I just want to be here when Jesus returns. That will be something else to see. Do you doubt it? Well, I'm here to tell you he's en route. He just stopped off for a beer and a smoke on Uranus, and he'll be here soon, so prepare yourself. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. It is difficult to surmise just when doomsday arrives, but it's got to be pretty close now. And how many of you are still thinking that everything's going to be all right? This ain't a Bob Marley song, kids. And decidedly, everything is not going to be all right. Can you remember back to grammar school? It was the damned 1970s. And even then, the world was populated with crazy people. I mean, I must have been in fourth grade, must have been around 1980 or thereabouts. And I had this teacher who was a nun. It was a parochial school, of course, and a definite sort of version of mind control, Catholic mind control is what they had there. And at least they weren't Jesuits, though, so they had that going for them. And I think maybe they were Dominican, whatever that order is. Well, even then, despite their witchcraft, or perhaps precisely because of it, I knew that I'd grow up to be a total fuck. It took years of self-psychoanalysis to unwind the pettifogging BS they implanted. I mean, we were abused as children. I mean, we had the worst parents imaginable, boomers, an entire generation of narcissistic children who had no business becoming parents. It was in 1971, and I was a prime candidate for that newly passed procedure, if you remember that one, 50 years ago now, more. Well, my parents even failed at that. Their generation ruined the entire world. And it's not entirely their fault, but it happened on their watch. And they oversaw the complete degradation and disintegration of the American and Western society. I mean, they could have held the line, but they didn't. They sold out. They abandoned God. And now Mystery Babylon is about to get its just desserts. In a few years, the United States of America will not exist as such. Have you figured out yet what's coming? Some people have seen this coming for years. And what have you been doing? If you haven't gotten your shit together yet, it's perhaps too late, or maybe not entirely too late. If you hew to these three things, you might stand a chance. That's your silver bullets and bourbon. If you haven't gotten the memo, here it is. There are no rules. Everything you think life is going to crash about your ears in the next 12 to 18 months. And if you're listening to this, and I know you are, all three of you, then this message is for you. Walk away, leave everything behind, take nothing with you except the three aforementioned items. Hey, I was watching Randall Carlson on the YouTube. He's got a new channel. I'll link to it below. And Randy's an interesting dude, a really smart guy, and I got turned on to him through Graham Hancock, who I found through Joe on his podcast. And I'm sitting there listening to Randy, and he says this thing that my mouth dropped open. I couldn't believe what I heard him say. I'm going to give you the quote. It's not very long. The accretion rate of meteoroidal debris is not uniformly expressed through time, but it is clustered, meaning there are times when the Earth is more susceptible to being bombarded. Now, I heard that and I kind of laughed. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Here's Randy telling us how concerned we need to be because of a potential meteoroid impact that could wipe out humanity. I mean, has it not occurred to him that we're about to get frickin' nuked? I mean, does he not realize that the Western world is about to get fried, nuclear annihilation? And it's coming, people. It's coming. Oh, yeah. But I guess Randy's more worried about the meteors. Interesting, funny, hilarious. Thought I'd bring that up. Have a great one, kids. Where do we go from here? So much to talk about. God helps those who help themselves. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Be mindful, be helpful unto others, for there is salvation, and that salvation may be your own, and you not even know it. CB wanted me to mention, thanks for listening. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps.
Adios, and thanks for all the fish.